States and municipalities across the country are hiring contact tracers, people who work to track the spread of COVID-19. Our Megan Cerullo has been working on this story for MoneyWatch. Megan, thanks for joining us. Explain how contact tracing works and how it's been previously used.
Sure. Contact tracing is commonly used to track the spread of sexually transmitted infections and tuberculosis. Contact tracers are given the names of individuals who have tested positive for COVID-19. They make contact with them, and right off the bat, so they're cold calling these strangers. Right off the bat, they're asking them personal questions such as where have they been and who have they been in contact with. The contact tracer then locates those individuals and warns them that they might have been exposed, and they advise them to self-isolate. So that's the process.
So who's doing this work? Are they employees of, the State Department of Health, or how does it work?
It's a patchwork effort. There's no federal initiative, so it's happening on a state-by-state basis. These efforts are usually run out of local health departments, and almost every state is ramping up hiring. In New York State, for example, the governor's announced plans to hire up to 17,000 contact tracers. In California, the goal is 10,000. In Washington State, it's 1,500. And while the requirements vary, you don't need a background in medicine. An interest in public health is certainly required. And you need to be resourceful. You need to have the ability to track people down. You have to have good interpersonal skills because you're going to be reaching out to strangers, and you're going to have to be persuasive. You're going to have to persuade them to self-isolate and also provide them with resources they might need while they're in quarantine.
Megan, how long is the job expected to last?
It's expected to last about a year with the possibility for it to be extended. And this can also lead to a career because there are sort of more senior roles as supervisors that require a little bit more experience. So for all those folks who are unemployed right now, who've lost their jobs possibly because of coronavirus, this could be a good place to look for work.
Does it pay well?
It varies. In New York, the salary range is $57,000 to $65,000. In Georgia, I saw a job posting advertising a $15 an hour as the pay. In Massachusetts, it's around $27 an hour. So it really depends.
And I understand that Apple and Google are developing technology to help with contact tracing efforts. So how does that fit into this picture?
They are. Those apps use Bluetooth data to alert users that they've come into close proximity with someone who's infected with COVID-19. There is a role for these kinds of apps. There are privacy concerns too. They're vulnerable to abuse and can be a source of misinformation. But the real issue with apps is they can't replace the work that human contact tracers do. Contact tracers they're making contact with individuals who are sick, who might be scared or distressed. They need to have empathy. They also have to be persuasive, and there's no app that can do that.
Dr. Anthony Fauci said that this was sort of one of the key components that would ensure that we could contain the spread of this virus, having the ability to track and trace people who may have been in contact with it. I'm wondering, how successful has this been in other countries? I'm thinking of South Korea right now, but I'm sure that you know better than me.
That's right. It's not an experiment. It's a tried and true effort, and it's been really successful in Asian countries, in China, South Korea, and Tom Frieden, who's the former director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has said that the United States needs to hire up to 300,000 contact tracers. And that is the equivalent to the scale of the effort that was rolled out in Wuhan, China. So this really is an effective way to break that chain of transmission, and has been successful in other countries that have started to reopen their economies.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Really interesting stuff.
Thanks for having me.